Please tell us who are you and what are you doing here?
I'm Jeff Waugh. I work on the Ubuntu project. I do business and community development, and I also work on the GNOME project. My kind of nickname at the moment is the Release Manager Emeritus, which basically means I'm the ex-release manager.
And there will be a new release, won't there?
Yes, there will. In mid-March, we're going to ship 2.14.
What can be expected from 2.14?
Probably the most exciting thing in 2.14 is there's been a huge amount of performance fixes. So anyone who's tried GNOME before and felt it was a little bit slow on their older hardware, they should try again, because it's going to be really nice. Lots and lots of work gone into performance.
What are currently the hot topics inside the GNOME project?
Actually related to performance, one of the cool things that's happening in GNOME land at the moment is we have lots of embedded devices using GNOME. So this is a Nokia 770, and it's running a lot of GNOME software on there as the basis for their Maemo environment. But there's been some interesting announcements in the last couple of weeks about Palm Source also using GTK and GStreamer, the multimedia framework for GNOME. So that's really exciting, lots and lots of embedded stuff, and that has contributed a lot to the performance fixes in GNOME, because of course on those little devices, not quite as much memory and hard drive space and those sorts of things, or fast CPUs like our desktops.
There has been a lot of discussion as a result of the comments by Linus Torvalds on a GNOME user interface guideline list. What are your opinion about those?
To a certain extent they were misconstrued. Linus felt that we had sort of removed functionality when really we hadn't quite got to implementing it yet. I think we haven't really communicated why we make the design choices we do, and sometimes people think that mistakes on our part, bugs or things that we just haven't got to, are actually design choices. So that's a bit of a problem. We're going to do more about talking about those sorts of things. When it comes to the user interface guidelines, they're really sort of a set of standards for how to make your program work and function in a standard way. So they don't really say things like, you shouldn't have functionality in your program. They don't say anything quite like that. So it was a big blow up, but it kind of it supported something that we've been thinking about for a while, which is that we don't make a big enough deal about some of the cool features that we have for the more geeky users. Now Linus is very, very technical user, very, very geeky. He likes all those kinds of things. So we've talked a lot for ages about, GNOME just works and it's very simple and easy to use and those sorts of things. But we haven't really been talking about some of the really cool stuff that you can do with GNOME. Things like Devil's Spy or Brightside, which make the window manager work in totally different ways. They take Metacity, which is a very kind of conservative, very simple, it just manages your Windows kind of window manager, and they turn it into, something that does edge flipping and all sorts of cool stuff, programmable window environment, those kinds of things. But we don't talk about those enough. So that's something that we have to change.
Those human interface guidelines, how do they come about?
A long time ago, before 2.0, we started writing the first version of the HIG. We call it the HIG, and we had a series of user interface design and human-computer interaction experts from the various companies that work on GNOME, and also people from the community, got together and wrote standards for what we were doing at the time, and a little bit of what we should be doing, how we could improve the stack so that it would be more usable. But really, they're standards and guidelines for making things recognizable from program to program. They're based quite a bit on the Apple human interface guidelines. They did a really, really good set of guidelines years and years and years ago, and it helped them get their third-party developers to write applications that fit in really well. So that was the intent behind the HIG, and it's done that really amazingly. These days you try third-party GNOME applications, and more often than not, they look similar, they feel similar, they have the same kind of intent that the rest of the desktop has, which is cool.
Another cool program that will be included in the next version of Fedora are GNOME Desklets, if I pronounce them correctly. What are those?
So GDesklets is a little set of programs that run on your desktop. They do all sorts of tricky things like showing you the weather, those kinds of things. Some other applications that are similar on other platforms, the Apple's widgets, Confabulator, which was originally an Apple, it was for Mac OS X. Now Yahoo have got Confabulator. So it's very much in the same kind of vein as those. They're cute, they're very, very easy to write, they're just little Python things, and they run on your desktop and show you cool stuff. It's just cute little widgetry.
What is the relationship between GNOME and the Mono project?
Mono is a project that Miguel de Icaza started quite a few years ago now. It's been quite a long time. He was previously the leader of the GNOME project. One of the things that he saw was that it's hard to use the platform in Linux in general, GCC, all these kinds of things. And writing things in C and C++ causes you to think about all sorts of different things apart from your goal of writing great software. So he started working on Mono, and one of the great things about Mono is that it has really great GTK binding, so it's easy to write good GNOME software with Mono. So some of the things you'll see that are written in Mono, things like fspot, which is a great photo management application, Beagle, which is a search tool. So these sorts of things are really, really sexy GNOME apps. They happen to be written in C# and Mono. So it's just a new platform, a new way of looking at things, so the developers are more effective at writing great software.
Everyone in the IT industry has, of course, seen the screen dumps from Windows Vista and all the beautiful icon they are probably releasing. What is your judgment of it?
I think Microsoft have learned a lot from the free software community. I really do. There's a lot of stuff in Vista that you look at, and the things that GNOME and KDE were doing years and years and years ago.
For instance?
So their little sidebar thing where they have widgets on their sidebar, so they have clocks, they have RSS feeds, those kinds of things. Those are the kinds of things that, the GNOME applets and the KDE Kicker applets, we've had those for years, So there's other bits and pieces that they've picked up as well, certain things in their browser and some of the ways that their desktop works, those sorts of things. So they've really picked that up from the free software community. So it's interesting. There's a lot of cool stuff in there that we haven't done, but there's definitely, they're looking at us as competitors and trying to equalize and leap ahead as well.
What are the main features from Vista you think that will feature shortly in an open source product?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I haven't really thought about it too much. Off the top of my head, actually, one of the cool things that I think we need to do that Vista has done really, really well is the really nicely integrated user switching features. So you can jump between users' desktops and those sorts of things. GNOME, strangely enough, has had the infrastructure for doing this for a long time. We've only really recently started integrating it really nicely into the user interface. But GDM, the display manager, where you log into your GNOME desktop, has actually had the bits and pieces to do this for ages. So that's kind of cool. And Microsoft have done a good job of making that really easy to use, really easy to understand. So I think that's the kind of thing that people will be inspired about.
Finally, what do you think will be the most catching feature from GNOME in the upcoming years or months?
So we're currently working on sort of the next iteration of GNOME, and we're doing some design for where it's going to go next. And what we're looking at is that for the past 20 or so years, the Windows icons, menus, and pointer, the WIMP kind of paradigm has sort of dominated everything. That's sort of defined how everything's worked. And it's kind of time for that to change, because when I wake up in the morning, I don't think that I have to rearrange my windows and sort my icons. They're not the things that I find important. The things that I actually care about are people, events, documents, and getting laid. So that's the kind of stuff that we have to start thinking about. So there's a lot of experimentation and development happening in GNOME around those kind of ideas. And I think one of the most exciting projects, if I can pimp Alex Gravely's awesome project Gimme, it's a really interesting way of taking those ideas that we've been putting together and sort of the experiences that we've had with GNOME over the past few years, and he's putting them into action with this cool experimental program called Gimme. It's very cool. Gimme, as in gimme.
Okay. What's your involvement with the Ubuntu project?
So I do business and community development for Canonical, and I sort of got involved originally because of my background in GNOME and release management, and so it's not really much of a surprise that Ubuntu has a 6-month time-based release process, much like GNOME. And so GNOME's releasing in mid-March, and there'll be a new Ubuntu release at the end of April. And it's actually pretty exciting because it's our very first long-term release support. So we're going to have 3 years of desktop support and 5 years of server support. And it's called Dapper Drake, and it's going to be very, very sexy.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.